How will you know if you have internalized rage and anger, and how does it show up in your body? This is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to share with you my experience in this short little video that's going to make so much common sense to you. I'm Georgie Holbrook. Please click the views below and just help me build this audience. For we're all one, right? We all have internalized rage at some point where life has disappointed us. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story and how speaking to my body, speaking to my face, literally started healing me. Now, this is about you. And what do you tell yourself when you look in the mirror? So let's explore this subject. All right. Going back in my history, I worked in the corporate world and I hardly ever got sick. And then one day, somewhere around 36 years old, I got allergies. Now, if we look around your community, you're going to find a lot of people say, oh, it's this time of the year I've got allergies. Well, in my world, there's a whole emotional component to it. See, I'm in the health field now. I left corporate America to live my passion and purpose and to help some people like you that are chosen to be in my life. There's a saying that many are called, but some are chosen. And I believe if you're watching this, you're going to stay to the end because you have been chosen. There's a message here for you. All right, so I'm in the corporate world, hardly ever get sick, but at 36, I got allergies. And I took allergy shots for 5 months. And after that, my face started turning red. Now the allergies went away. And then after red, then I got acne. And soon after that, I got boils on my face. Oh my gosh, makeup wouldn't cover it up. But you see, I'm working in corporate America where it's ruthless. Maybe you're on a job right now or in a situation where it's eat, work, sleep, do it all over again tomorrow. And you can do it, but inside you're exhausted. There's no passion, there's no love, there's no flow. So right now, for the last 30 years, I have been teaching people about nature and how to come back in harmony within ourselves. But I didn't know, folks, that I had internalized rage. So I'm going to actually explain to you how our body has this internalized rage and anger that we're not even aware about it, but it comes out in little ways, right? Where we get flippant, we get angry pretty fast, and it's a language calling us for help. So it's internalized, we ignore it, we don't know how to heal it, we sure don't know how to release it. Okay, back to my story. Now my face has got boils, so I go to my first skin cancer doctor, not thinking I had cancer, but I needed a quick fix. See, in the corporate world, I had this mentality. If I cried once every 7 years, it was once too often. I was very arrogant because that's the way I was trained. Don't feel, be strong, just keep marching on. But internally, I was accumulating this anger of how I was treating myself, but also how I was allowing others to treat me also, because I was in this fast-paced, successful looking life from the neck up, but from the neck down, my body had another story. Okay, so fast forward. Over the next 6 years, I determined that medication wasn't what I was lacking, but that I would go on my own search. So the first skin cancer doctor I went to, because I had boils on my face is all red, and I'm 36 years old, diagnosed me with an incurable, deforming, disfiguring disease. And that it could affect my eyesight. So what would you do if you had this story? Where do you go if you don't know anything about your body and the mechanics of it, basic things? I knew nothing. I knew a lot about corporate business projects, solving issues, but I knew nothing about my body. And I expected my body never to break down. I was proud that, I could work right over the top of illness, never giving a sense for my own body. But there I was in that skin cancer doctor's office and going, medication's not what I'm lacking, and I'm totally out of control. I don't know anything. I don't know what to believe. So I went and got 5 other opinions. Hopefully you'll do the same thing. You just don't take the first results, right? But I was innocent. I didn't understand my body. And so I went on a journey and decided I will never be placed in this helpless position again. Well, I thought because I was so sharp in the business world that I could also be sharp when it came to my health, and that I would just figure this out pretty fast, and then I could get back to the corporate world. But the spirit that beats my heart and beats your heart, has a different plan for us sometimes, and will take us down a road, a road that health issues become a very big challenge. So over the next 6 years, I fasted, I did cleanses, I researched, I studied with some of the finest people across the country here in the United States, and I progressively got worse. So I had some really mighty fine dermatologists, holistic practitioners, and doctors. If I heard of anybody healing anything, I would go and want to meet with them and find out what did they do. My belief, and I hope it's your belief, is that our body is not as complicated as we think. And so when it breaks down in our innocence, we just agree to whatever they tell us, right? Because we haven't understood the basics of how to care for ourselves on a daily basis. And that was my story. All right, 6 years later now, I'm 42 years old. I've tried all these different things, major things I would try. If it made sense to me, I would try it. Have you ever been to a point in your life where maybe you're in a relationship or a financial crisis, or you just lost somebody or something in your life, and you go, oh my God, will it ever end? Will I ever have my life back? That's the way I lived for 6 years, back to back. It was like, will this ever end? And at 42 years old, if I looked into the future and I can't find an answer, I can't live like this. So actually, suicide was a comforting thought. It was like, I'm gonna have to figure out how to just check out of here, because my way isn't working, and so I just kept on the search. Of course, the suicidal thoughts were just a thought. I knew in my heart that if I could figure it out, if I could solve my own health issue, it would be useless to just end my life if I could find the answer, right? I mean, so I kept challenging myself to think better, and hopefully you do too. So at 42, my face is deformed. I'm losing my eyesight, and I do have a picture of what my face looked like back then. I was lancing boils every day. It was pretty rugged, right? Pretty tough going, and there was no answers. Now, I'm losing a major part of my eyesight. I no longer can read and drive. And I'm desperate. I'm so traumatized that I don't cry. People come up to me, they think I've been in a fire. I'm questioned by everybody that thinks they have a remedy, right? And so I would listen to them. But then there was the people that totally avoided me, just didn't want to look at me. I didn't want to look at me either. I hated looking in the mirror. The mirror and I became, oh, do I have to look in the mirror and lance boils one more time, right? And think of feeling so ugly. And there was no safe place for me to just go. Nobody asked, do you just need a hug? Do you need a friend that's safe enough to share your feelings? I didn't know what I was feeling. And there was nobody around me that asked deeper questions. So today I sit with people and I ask deeper questions, and I become that safe place for somebody. So you might click below and just help me out. Like me on views, because I have a message. I've been given a second chance. So here I am, 42, no answers. And I find one doctor that came to the United States to become a medical doctor, but he wanted to study the immune system. And he's doing a lecture. And so I go to hear him along with some other doctors that he was speaking with. They were medical doctors, but they had gone the holistic route, and they were speaking about how to prevent cancer, coronary, and stroke. I knew I didn't have cancer, coronary, or stroke, but I knew that our body cannot be that complicated. So I'm listening to him, and it's like, oh my God, nobody up till now has a clue about the immune system. You see, if you and I scratch our arms today, it heals, right? So our immune system is always intact. Now, if we have illness or disease, it doesn't just happen. It's been accumulating for a while. And much of it, this is in my world and my thinking and what I can prove, it starts emotionally. There's some high stress, trauma, something is shutting down this body, and you can reverse it. That's the good news. All right, so I listened to him speak. And then I got a private meeting with him for 1 hour. That was another miracle. And I had my big file of papers, and I'm sharing with him what's happened. And he takes my pulse. Now, there's some people that can take your pulse from your wrist, take your pulse from your fingertips. Yes, pretty amazing. And tell you how each organ is in harmony or out of harmony with each other. Can tell you what kind of rage you have inside. Oh my goodness, we're getting personal, aren't we? So he tells me, you have an internalized quiver. Well, I knew I had an internalized quiver, but I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't understand it. So my clothes weren't shaking, but internally I was so traumatized. Now you can imagine your life is over at 42. You were a brilliant person in the corporate world, and all of a sudden, you're no longer feeling very brilliant because you can't even help yourself. So he says, you will, and for you too, that are listening, you cannot heal with that kind of tension inside where you have an internalized quiver. Each organ is out of harmony with each other. See, the big spirit that beats our heart, puts air in our lungs, wants us to come back to be calm. And when we're calm, we have a better chance for healing. Well, I wasn't calm. So he says, stop going to doctors. So it would be like going on the web today and just studying all the fearful diagnoses about whatever you have going on. And it's endless, right? And the people that get on there and just tell you one story after another, and pretty soon now your imagination goes crazy. So he says, find peace within at whatever price. Stop going to doctors. You see, Georgie, this here is the effect, whatever's on your face. The cause is both emotional and physical. I didn't understand that. But I was wise enough to go, oh, that's where I was looking too. Because see, my reasoning was my face maybe is 2% of my body. The rest of my skin was healthy. So why couldn't this heal if the rest of my body's healthy? Well, that wasn't his take. See, our skin is our largest organ. So he's saying, no, when the engine is out of alignment, you're going to have effects of pain, illness, disease. But when you bring the body back to harmony with nature, it starts self-healing, because we've been self-healing since we were born. All right, peace within. That was a foreign assignment for me. I hadn't had peace within. All I knew was work, sleep, eat, do it better, accomplish a lot, and keep going, and the next assignment would come in and I would be able to do that. That's how I lived my life. So I had a very strict work addiction. And work addiction is approved of for us because we get praised, we get bonuses, we get perks of all kinds, we get titles at our own expense, right? Because we don't have common sense when it comes to taking care of our bodies, for many of us, most of us. I'll talk for myself. All right, peace within. So, you know, the great spirit that beats my heart, beats your heart, it's always leading us. So the next thing that opened was this workshop with 80 people. And I hesitated going, but it was on how our emotions, our high stress, our traumas, our hidden hurts, all the ways that we've been stuffing our feelings, going from one situation to another and thinking that the next situation can be better, and then ending up with the same pattern and the same beliefs, right? Over and over and over. So this workshop was cutting through that, showing us that our emotions, whatever we want to call it, manifest in physical forms as a call for help. And that if we understood this process, that we could reverse these health issues. And I was all in. But I was scared because 80 people were going to be looking at this face. But they assured me that I would be okay. So I learned a lot in the next 2 weeks about the emotions. But I'm here to tell you today about the first day with them and their assignment. So they have us, and I would like you to do this too. Write all our likes and all our dislikes. And I wrote all my dislikes. Oh my God, I hated my diet. I just this journey. There was layers and layers and layers of scary things that I wrote down about that I disliked in my life. Having this disease, losing my eyesight, lancing boils. And I went into detail, and it was like over and over again. But on the like side, the joy side, I had nothing. And all of a sudden, I had this like little panic in my heart. It was like, oh my God, there is no joy in my life. There's nothing that I can even identify that I like in my life. I'm just going through the motions. So I go in this major big bathroom that they had, and I'm in there by myself. And I've got my papers in my hand, and I look in my eyes, and I say something like this: I know I can do away with my dislikes one at a time, but I don't know if I'll be alive if I continue to go this route. So I need to make a decision now. And I know I've got a lot of internalized anger and rage. It was just normal living this lifestyle up till now. So I'm looking in this mirror, and I said, I don't know how to find joy. I don't even know what I like anymore. I'm so confused in this daily routine of survival. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I make this promise. Okay, to the best of my ability, and I want you to do this too, to the best of my ability, looking in the mirror, I'm going to do away with this dislike list right now. And as I made that commitment, looking in my eyes, two things happened. One was the internalized quiver just went away. It went away, folks. And my face was always so hot with fever and heat, and that fever went away. I had two things. Just looking in the mirror and saying, I'm going to do away with this internalized rage and anger, and I'm going to find joy over here, but I don't know how to find joy, right? But in that moment, I was given two things, and I was like looking back in the mirror, and I went, really? Has my dislike list in life been holding this health issue in place? I want you to get that. Yes, it had. Yes, it had. And I was like, oh my gosh. See, now years later, I know that we cannot live in negativity and trauma and anger. And see, I didn't know I had internalized anger. But as you look at this picture, right, that's anger. That's internalized rage. Your skin is your largest organ. So it might show up for you in a different health issue. But I'm here to tell you there's answers. So fast forward, I stayed with this group for 9 months to a year. My face healed. My eyesight came back. The capillaries healed. I mean, I've been with dermatologists now that just go, really, we never look at the emotional component or lifestyle of people. So for 30 years, I've been working with individuals and doing workshops and spreading my voice wherever it can go. But with your help, I can even do more. So click below. I have a bunch of services coming up that you can join me. But the main thing I want you to know is, if you study with me, I'm going to teach you nature's way. I'm going to teach you the mechanics of your body, how to stay in harmony, and how to prevent illnesses. You see, we have some really scary labels out there. And I have a joke. You see my angel there? That some of these labels they give us, even the angels can't pronounce, right? Big labels, scary labels. And we don't need to go that route. I'm not against doctors at all. Please don't get that, because doctors are trained in isolated body parts. You go to a knee doctor, a hip doctor, an elbow doctor, an eye doctor, an ear doctor, whatever it is. So they're trained in an isolated body part. But in the holistic field, in the natural field, I look at everything about you. I want to know what's happened to you. I want to know what your body language is. What is your body telling me that you don't understand? So there's a language that's intuitive inside of you, where your soul language, whatever you want to call it, is telling you there's more to life. Live your passion. Live your purpose. You'll be healthy and happy. And it's all available to you. It doesn't matter what age the people come to me. It doesn't matter. I'm always teaching. I'm always sharing my message, because I can prove what I know. I can teach you experientially, not in reading. You can see I've got 5 books. But if you can experience it and feel the improvement immediately, that's far more than reading about it and going, oh, well, I'll start this next week. So my saying is, if you don't start now learning about your body, when are you going to start? The biggest investment you can ever do is understanding this body for a lifetime. This is your investment for a lifetime. So join me, click below, get in my mailing list, like me with views, spread the news. So if you got anything out of this message today, share it with one person, help them also, and then spread it with many. And from my heart to yours, you can see I love what I do. And I dye on silk, so you'll see me wearing a lot of silk, because I just love the energy from French dye. So from my heart to yours, blessings, and I'm going to be blessed talking with you soon. So sign up, schedule a session, and let's go from there.